Is classical conversations curriculum sufficient to take a child to college in the science engineering track?
It absolutely is. I will start by saying that our founder, Lee Morton's.
Thanks, Mona. A lot of information there. And I just want to add a couple of things to that. Usually I'm the senior guidance counselor that's going to be looking at your child, tweaking their transcript a little bit, because what we can do is we want the transcripts to not just be okay. We want them to stand out. We want them to be specific. We want them to tell the story of your child, and for anyone to be able to look at that transcript, not just see general classes there, but to be able to look and see very specific things they have done, the debate, you know, the rhetoric, the senior thesis, things like that on there that CC offers, and to have those honors classes that are listed on the planning sheet. Generally, those are going to be the English, the math. I'm not the math. I'm going crazy here. The English, the science, and the social studies, and those will be the honors classes. Now, why do you want honors? So I've got a question here. Can I go back and change something I didn't do correctly in Applecore? Yes, you can go back and change some things, tweak some things, add those honors tags. And lots of times when I'm working with a student who's applying for scholarships, I will look and see that they've done classical conversations. And then I will let the mom know, because lots of times our moms still don't know that they can even get honors. And why does that make a difference? Well, for the most part, when our transcripts go out, they're going to have the regular unweighted GPA. So, you know, that might be a 3.8. It might be a 4.0 if they've made all A's. But for scholarships, for competitive scholarships, lots of times, you know, our kids are up against public school kids, private school kids, and they've got weighted GPAs. And lots of times the scholarships will say either weighted or unweighted GPA above a 4.0 or maybe a 4.0. Say your student has a 3.8 GPA, but with all the honors classes, their GPA is a 4.2. So when I send those out through Common Application and I see a GPA of 4.0 or above weighted, I always put that on there. But if you're just going to request a transcript going to a college and you want that weighted GPA, you will have to let us know that you want us to send it with the weighted GPA. So on the transcripts, we can put class rank. So we rank our students according to the ACT and SAT scores. So we can put all this on the transcript, but you have to ask us, because otherwise we're not going to know, right? And anything we can do to give our students that edge. So we do the recommendation letters as well. We rate your students when we're on the Common Application. Have they done demanding college classes? Have they done very demanding? Have they done most demanding? So the more information that you give us, like Mona was saying, and Margie, in that short little description, they did classical conversations, challenge 1, 2, 3, 4. They've done everything. They've got the honors. That is going to be the most demanding work, you know, and that's what colleges want to see when they're giving scholarships. So does CC help get scholarships? Well, Dawn can tell you, I've worked with her kids. Absolutely. You know, and so we can be as flexible as you need us to be. Don't think because we say this is the way we want things that we're trying to put you in a box. And if you've got say you've got a student with some learning challenges, or they're way outside the box in some areas, but they're doing CC, and you want to know, can we put this on the transcript? Should we put this on the transcript? Just reach out and ask us, because we look at literally thousands of transcripts a year. So we can look at yours and go, yeah, this is what's going to make it be the best. That's what we want for your student. So we're trying to equip you to get everything just perfect, but know that we're going to be going over it as well before your student ever graduates, and helping you tweak it even more, or put some things in the portfolio. Maybe we don't want it super cluttered, but we want it super strong. Does that make sense? We want it as strong as it can be without being all cluttered up with things that are not needed. Now, I did have a question about ACT prep. Can I give a credit for ACT prep? That's a standard half credit. And many times, if you don't already have those 8 credits, that's fine to put an ACT prep half a credit on there. If you've already got 8 credits, or maybe 8.5 credits, you might want to put that in the portfolio. And I am a huge fan of portfolios, y'all. Huge fan. When I go to do the common applications for students, how do you think I'm going to rate them if they have nothing in their portfolio, or if they've got a portfolio full of quality things that this student has done? See, it makes a difference. And it makes a difference to colleges. It makes a difference as far as scholarships go. So I know for a fact that my kids' portfolios help them get scholarships. So let's see, okay, so we talked about okay, I want to say something else about the weighted GPA and unweighted. So for the most part, the unweighted GPA is what's going to be on the transcript, unless you let us know to put the weighted. When we list our valedictorians and salutatorians in the yearbook, we list their ACT scores, and then we list them in order of their weighted GPAs, and we list those. So, you want as high as possible when they've got honors classes. So honors, dual enrollment, AP, if they have, that opportunity, take an AP course or take the test, CLEP, if they do CLEP, those all weight a 4-point GPA to a 5-point. So you can see how that's going to increase that weighted GPA. It's not going to increase the unweighted, but the more honors that they take, the higher that weighted GPA. And I will tell you this, the more unweighted courses that are on the transcript, it will dilute the weighted GPA. So that's something to consider when you're adding in a lot of electives and wondering, do I put them on the transcript or do I put them in the portfolio? Well, you can put them on the transcript, but just know that if your student has 6 courses, 3 are weighted and 3 are unweighted, that's going to give a higher weighted GPA than if they have 8 courses and 3 are honors, so they're weighted, and say 5 are unweighted. So I had a mom very upset recently that her students' weighted GPA went down. And then when I looked at the transcript, I said, well, that's because they have all of these electives that you've added in now that are not honors, they're not weighted, and so that dilutes that weighted GPA. So again, we want it to be the best. And sometimes the best is to just have the quality courses there and everything else in the portfolio. So I think that example right there is going to help you understand why sometimes we say, oh, I think that you might be better off putting work experience. You can count a job, and certainly if they're going to a college that's going to look at that and wants it on the transcript, then that's fine. Otherwise, I would say put it in portfolio. Okay. Now, Dawn, I'm going to refer this one to you. Can astronomy, see what you think, and then I could add something. Can astronomy be your high school physical science credit in Challenge B 8th grade?
We have a formal physical science strand in Challenge 1, which is 9th grade. So if you list physical science as 8th grade, then you would be doing it again in 9th grade. I don't think that there's usually a lot of reason to have a high school science credit in 8th grade. So y'all would be the best to help them determine that. Would give them 5 science credits of how that would look on the transcript. But usually in 7th and 8th grade, we don't need a high school science credit.
A lot of parents, can I speak to that?
Yes, go
I
ahead.
have a lot of parents that want to take a science in the 8th grade for the high school grade, and they can take like a high school physical science or biology and get credit for it in 8th grade. And a lot of times, if they've run out of what's being offered, like under CC, then they may, if they're really science bent, they're going to dual enroll something at the end of high school, maybe. But yeah, I do get a lot of parents that do want to do that early credit. And
Our curriculum does astronomy and origins in Challenge B, and then we have physical science, biology, chemistry, and physics in Challenge 1 through 4.
Yeah. So what I think she was mean too is that sometimes when those kids are taking Challenge B in 9th grade, they can count that astronomy as a high school science credit.
If you need it for 9th grade,
it's
different from just adding one for 8th grade.
Right. But if we're kind of flexible to whatever the parent, whatever their goals are.
Yeah, we're certainly flexible. The bottom line is the student's not going to need that. In Challenge B, we usually are not going to give high school credits for that in 8th grade. But like Margie said, if you've ever got questions, just put in a request in the request manager for that grade level counselor. And then, if it's input classical conversations question, and then Margie will get back with you, or Mona or myself, or in Florida, it will be Laura, and our global communities will be Jill. So here's another one for you, Dawn. And I know the answer to this. I want you to explain it though. Is classical conversations curriculum sufficient to take a child to college in the science engineering track?
It absolutely is. I will start by saying that our founder, Lee Bortons, and her husband are engineers, spaceships, aerospace engineers. Yeah, my own personal engineer was here in the room and replied to that. My own kids, Olivia did health sciences. She had to take all the chemistry in college. She did very well. Mason, my son, just finished his freshman year in mechanical engineering. He had an internship this summer, and tomorrow we're moving him into an apartment where he has a co-op this year working for a defense contractor, which he's super excited about, and just after his freshman year. One thing that I would say about classical conversations, our curriculum is fantastic, but more than that, we teach our children, our students, how to learn. And so they're able to tackle any subject matter that they're going to go out into the world and experience. We saw this especially in 2020 when my college kids had to come home and teach themselves college. They had classmates who did not know how to do that, and they didn't do well. A lot of kids did not go back to college after that semester because they hadn't done well. But our kids knew how to dig in, how to learn, how to ask questions, how to figure things out. So we have classical conversation students at the service academies. We have classical conversation students in engineering and technology heavy schools. I personally have an engineer and a science major. And so I think that depends on your child's interest and their aptitude. But we will equip them with the tools of learning and how to dig in and learn what they want to study. Another thing that we talked about, if you attended a practicum this summer, we talked about the catechesis wheel with the grammar, the dialectic, and the rhetorical stages of learning. And at the top of that, we had doxology that talked about purpose and why. And so my girl, who ended up going into science in college, that was not her plan in high school. So high school, she did not spend her extra time studying those Apologia textbooks, but she decided she wanted to be a registered dietitian. And she shadowed a dietitian at the hospital, fell in love with it. And then she had a purpose and she had a why of why she had to go study chemistry. She ended up taking organic, inorganic, biochemistry, all of the chemistries online through the pandemic. And she did very well because she had that purpose and why that motivated her to do so.
Yeah, so that's awesome. You know, I've seen that Classical Conversations pretty much prepare students for everything. Doesn't matter what their career choice is, their path, their college, it's going to prepare them because number one, they do those hard things. They stretch themselves in CC and they love learning, you know, so when a child loves to learn and they know how to learn, and they're going to do well. They are going to do well, and it gives them the background in particular, all the English that they do and the reading and the literature, and that's going to carry over into really every course that they do in college. But they're going to be strong if they do those Saxon math courses. They're going to be very strong and very prepared for college. My sons both did engineering and got engineering degrees. And, you know, I didn't stick with the Saxon the whole way through. And I tell moms I regret that. I was kind of all over the place trying out every math curriculum there was and found out that actually Saxon was the best for that. I wish I'd stuck with it. But we've got some more here that I want to get to. Would challenge B and challenge 1 science both come under physical science? So challenge B, if taken in the 8th grade, is not going to matter. The high school transcript is only going to show those courses that have high school credits on them. So for the most part, challenge B courses will not show up on a high school transcript, you know, if taken in 8th grade. Now, if challenge B is taken in 9th grade, that's what Margie addressed earlier, that you could call that a general science with the lab, or you could call that astronomy, I think is what they're doing in challenge B.
Astronomy and origins.
Oh yes, astronomy and origins, which you can just label it like that. So again, what you put in 8th grade, you could just list that as physical science. It's fine. And like I said, we usually don't give early credits in 8th grade for challenge B. And again, if you've got specific things and you've got a unique situation, just let us know, because we can be as flexible as you need us to be. How do you count challenge 1 debate? That is going to be on the planning sheet. And, you know, so the debate has different names depending on the year taken, but you are going to list those generally under electives and a half a credit for the speech and debate. I know it's got all kinds of different names.
Hey, Lonnie, in our Classical Conversations catalog, I know I've got this thing on now. Page 99 has our scope and sequence with a suggestion of how you can categorize each class. And then the form that y'all have also has the debate on it and how you can list it on your transcript if they're looking for a piece of paper that gives them that information.
Exactly. So our planning sheet and page 99 of the course catalog.
And that For the younger ones, when it says speech and debate on our planning sheet, sometimes they like for us to do the custom course title and actually put in speech and debate so they can see both of those. So
Yeah, okay. So there are quite a few questions about dual enrollment credits. And so Dawn, at this time, I would like for you to briefly go over CC Plus and some of these gap year, what they can do during that year, and the dual enrollment. You're on mute.
Yeah, I was trying to get my mouse in the right spot. Do I have the ability to share my screen? Share screen, there we go. So this is our CC Plus website. And if you just put CC Plus in Google, it will bring you right to it. But I think they're also going to put a link in our meeting notes here. And so this shows you what options are available that go along with each of the, hang on, I didn't actually click the share. How's that?
Much better. Thank you.
Okay, good. So the website is classicalconversationsplus.com. You can Google CC Plus and it comes right up. And this shows you the classes that are available for each challenge level. And so the way it works is we are partnered with Southeastern University in Florida, and their school has looked at our curriculum and determined which classes mesh with what classes they offer. And there is a representative of the university who works with our students. The student does the work as assigned in the challenge guide, and they submit pieces of that online to their assigned professor at the university, and they get feedback, they get grades just like you would in a dual enrollment class. I think this is technically a concurrent enrollment class because you're taking it in both places. And so it doesn't add a ton of work to what you're already doing with your challenge class, which is nice. And then it allows you to go in and get some of those college credits in advance if that suits the purpose of your student.
Okay, so question, and I just want to lay this out for our parents. They will tag these as dual enrollment classes because they are through a college and they are getting college credit. But the difference is that these courses are taught over the course of the entire school year. Is that right? Instead of just the semester, or does it? Oh, I know. I remember this. I think in challenge 2, they're taught the whole year, right?
So if you click on, let me go back and look at challenge 2. If you click on challenge 2 details and registration, there's fall courses and spring courses. So you can do English comp in the fall, or you can do it in the spring. You can do Latin in the fall or spring, and then Western culture 1 in fall and 2 in spring, and college algebra in either one.
Oh, okay.
So
when even in challenge 2, I think they changed that, didn't they? I thought some of them used to be year-long classes.
I'm not sure.
Okay. But now it looks like they're just like any other dual enrollment, that they will get the entire credit for the dual enrollment class.
Yeah, this is challenge 3, American history 1 and 2, English comp, Latin 2, speech, intro to chemistry, music theory, philosophy. And then there's a summer option for college algebra and psychology, intro to literature, all of that. And then challenge 4 is Greek and Roman literature, comp 2, Old Testament, ancient literature, Western Civ, Christian thought, and Western Civ 2, speech, with summer offerings of college algebra as well. Okay. So that is CC Plus, which is our undergraduate classes that go along with what's already in your guide. We also have an undergraduate program available for parents and students. If you're a CC parent who is teaching classical challenge classes at home with your student, whether you're a director or not, you can enroll and work on your bachelor's degree if that's not something that you have already. We also have a master's degree program for our parents and graduates. That's a Master's of Arts in Classical Studies. And then a fairly new program that we have is similar to a gap year program. It's called Odyssey. And this is on the website. You can click here and learn all about the Odyssey program. It's also through SEU. They get some college credit there as well. They do some trips together. It's an intensive extra year between college.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So there
And-
are a number of questions on the Q&A about that, and we may have to set those aside to follow up later for CC Plus in particular, since this particular webinar was not meant to cover all the details about CC Plus, but we are happy to answer those questions, or Dawn can help direct you to find that on the CC website as far as how to get into that, or how to get the transcript for that, or how to do all of the CC Plus specifics.
And we have a
Exactly.
dedicated team at Classical Conversations that's just for CC Plus. They do webinars and they answer questions all the time.
Okay, here's one that's specifically for our students. If you are registered with HomeLife Academy and want to do CC Plus or dual enrollment, may you do so with HLA, or do you need to be registered with the county? No, for all of these, you're registered with HomeLife Academy, and and then you can of course do dual enrollment, or any of the things that CC offers, and it will be on your HomeLife Academy transcript, and you will also have a college transcript. So you do not need to be registered with the county unless you are with the state that requires that, and we do not legally cover you, in which case you'll go ahead and register with your county. You'll be registered with HomeLife Academy as your school though, and then we work with the colleges. Okay, so you don't have to unenroll with HomeLife Academy ever. Yeah, so some of these others that are specific, we can answer later. Do you see any, Mona, that you want to answer live?
No, I think they're getting more into the details, and we are, again, so the purpose kind of this webinar is just to get you started and do your best to get go by the worksheet, put in what you think you can. And then if you need to do some additional tweaking or fact finding, we are happy to help. But as long as you have the basics in there in Applecore, then any of us are happy to help, and we can see more. If you've already put it in there for HomeLife Academy graduation purposes, you're probably in good shape. And then if there are additional things, we can figure that out with you, because situationally we are happy to, address every little thing with you. But again, every answer, sometimes the answers are situational, and we appreciate that. And so reach out to us or to Dawn, and we can get you those, a better direction. But so far, for getting in the basics in Applecore, so that that CC is exactly, I hate to use the word right. There is no wrong way of putting things in Applecore. We'll help. As long as we have a starting place, we can always help.
Where was it?
It was.
Okay, so this about wraps us up. We do have a lot of really good questions. One that we were a little bit unclear of, talking about the challenge 2 in the CC Plus, is that some of the moms are saying that it used to be a full year, but beginning with this school year, it's by semester. So I looked at that and I thought, oh, this might be something new, because I thought it was year long as well. But again, we can help you with all the questions, all your questions. Just let us know what they are. And if we don't know, we'll ask Dawn. So
One of the questions that was asked was what else can go in the portfolio, and I typed it real quick, but that's clubs, volunteer work, Civil Air Patrol, Sea Cadets, Scouts, Honor Society, work, hobbies, books, like all those things.
absolutely. And we do have some sample portfolios on our website, and we can help you with doing the portfolio. Again, I recommend doing portfolios for your kids. Don't leave that blank.
It was so helpful when we were applying for scholarships because it was all in one place. I just had to print it and then we could enter everything where it went. We carried that thing around with us everywhere.
Absolutely. And you have that. Otherwise, you're going to forget. And when you have everything filled in, they are so impressive. So my kids have used those a lot as well.
And teach them how to fill it out themselves. When they go to college and you haven't taught them how to fill out forms, you have to FaceTime them all the time.
Yes, yes. In the portfolios, my kids, I started filling them out and then they took it up and started filling them out because they were like, no, Mom, that's not exactly what I did. And so we left out all pronouns, because at first I was saying he was doing this, and then he's saying I'm doing this and this. And so we just learned how to take out all pronouns and be very specific but concise in filling those out. And it's a great skill for them to be doing their portfolios, because then they're going to be doing resumes. Okay, everybody, this has been so much fun. Unmute, and say goodbye, everybody. But this is Lonnie, and I'm gonna say goodbye and thank you all so much for joining us.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks.